Okay, so our first problem here, we are going 94 degrees, a bearing of 94, and I hope you can draw that from here. Now, the reason I put the plus so far down is that if you know what 94 degrees is, you're not going to need to go much further down as you move towards the right. It's down and to the right, if you haven't figured that out. Okay, next, draw that 3 miles long, because that's where the little boy wandered. Next, from there, he turned and he started going exactly northeast, and he did that for 2.5 miles. And let me tell you, he barely got there. Anyway, this is the little boy who says, I'll pull up the article for you later if I have time, that he was befriended by a bear, and that's what kept him alive for like 3 nights out in the cold. Anyway, so the question is, how far is he from home, like where he started? And it was, I think it was in like the backyard, and he just wandered off. Anyway, and if you were going to go get him, it's not likely he's going to all of a sudden realize where home is. You have to go get him. And they have helicopters flying out over there, and they go, oh, there he is. What bearing would they send you on? So in other words, the bearing from home to the boy. He's out here somewhere. All right. Hint, you now have sides and an angle between them, but you can figure out. And that would lend itself well to the law of cosines. All right, I'm going to pause for a second while you give this a try, and I'm going to give you a part. Okay, I know the groups are not done yet, but I'm going to start anyway. And if you realize you're doing it wrong, you could fix it. That's 4 degrees. Why? Because it's 90 plus 4 makes 94. Then this is 3. Do you have a compass rose right there? You should. And then I can do a little transfer. This is also 4 degrees. Anytime you can transfer angles from one clump over to the other, that's awesome. This must be 86 degrees, and I can transfer that. Next, I'm heading northeast. And that's 45 and 45. And that is a distance of 2.5. Compass rosing again. All right. And I've really wanted to use this pink line, so I just can't bear it anymore. I'm going to put it in there. Okay. Did you notice that you knew this angle was 86 plus 45, which I'm hoping is 130. What is it? 131? How many of you used 131 in your problem? All right, that's a lot of hands. Good. Then I've got a side angle sandwich, and that's always a good setup for law of cosines. Anybody who thought they could use law of sines because they saw, ooh, look, I've got a side and the angle across from it. What's the flaw in the logic there? This angle is not 4. This angle is 4 plus something. So no, you don't have a side and the angle across from it. You had to use law of cosines. If you haven't already, stick the numbers into the law of cosines and solve for the pink side. How many of you are already done with that and have the pink side? That's enough. I think we can do it. What'd you get? And I think it's 5.00 blah, 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 but it pretty much rounds to 5. Would you agree? All right. How many of you got 5? All right, so the little boy's 5 miles from home, and he's snuggled up to a teddy bear that's apparently alive and keeping him warm, which is cool. Then you're going to go out and try to find him. You would set off at a bearing of what? Well, I need this angle. But to get that angle, I can't get that angle directly. I really need this angle because this angle plus this angle plus this angle add up to 180, right? And I know most of them. So do you see it would be really nice if I knew this angle right here. I'm going to call it theta. And I've got a problem where I have the side and the angle across from it. So yeah, you could use law of cosines because it's super powerful, but since you have an angle and a side across from it, how many of you knew to use law of sines at this point? All right, good. So now, final answer. This angle, please pay attention. I don't want the final answer. I want this angle right here. This angle was what? 3 what? Thank you. 22.12. Can anybody verify the 22.1-ish? Oh, wait a minute. Yes? Okay. All right, good. Then I take 180 minus this, and the final answer, it looks to be like 80-ish. What is it? 71 point what? 83. Can anybody verify 71.83 for the bearing? Okay. All right, if you were not able to do that one, then you should go back and practice the bearing ones. Because it probably wasn't the law of cosines that got you. It was probably your setup, probably your picture, if you didn't do that right. Okay. Why did I pick this angle and not that angle? If I wanted this angle, I would have been asking you, how does the boy go home? Not how does the home go out to the boy. Okay. All right. Now, I want to give you some time to work on your homework. If you haven't checked Schoology lately, today, this morning, I set it up so that your homework would be a Schoology quiz. Now, the first question, unfortunately, is a little bit tricky. So I'm going to pull that up and look that over with you. Okay, in a moment, I'd like you to turn your iPads, not yet, in a moment, turn your iPad my way to show me that you have found this, because if you haven't, you're getting lost. Okay, so hurry up and get there if you aren't there. All right. Your homework for today is not a normal assignment, so don't go looking there. It's not in the notes. All right. So let me help you. On number 1, it says that we have a 38-degree angle. We're going to draw one. It's going to look like that. And that's A. Oh, is it randomized? I apologize. I'm going to rearrange them, but later. Frankly, I don't have the time. So can you guys see the other questions, or can you only see one at a time? Okay, so find this question wherever it is. And in a while, I'll shuffle it, and it'll all be your first problem. Thank you for bringing that up, though. Okay, now it says that side A is 10. That is not debatable, then, that this side is 10. But the question becomes, if this side here is 19, the question is saying, if this side's 10, is that going to work? There's 3 options. If this side is 10, do you get it's possible it makes a perfect right triangle? In which case it would form how many total triangles? 1. Option B, it's too short. Do you get that 10 might be too short to even connect? And then it's like this, and it doesn't quite reach. Therefore, how many triangles does it create? 0. The next option is that it could be longer than enough to make a right triangle, but not so long as like 19. Like if it was 19 long, obviously it would have to go that way. But if it's like between whatever their height is, they're asking you to find the height. That's why. From whatever the height is, which is, let's say the height's 8. If this height, once you find it, is like 8, but we know the side's supposed to be 10, do you get that that means it would be able to be in 2 different positions in this, therefore the ambiguous case? And I'm guessing, if I made this question, I would make it that. My guess is that the answer is it probably makes 2 triangles, because 10 is probably longer than the height, but 10 is definitely not too long. 12-minute warning. All right, so really, bottom line, do you get, at first you just have to find the height, so all of this is irrelevant until I know that. So let's find that height. Everybody take a minute, draw in a height. This is one of the flaws to Schoology quizzes. I get you can't draw on your Schoology quiz. So this is the part where you either have to have paper out, or you have to be able to do the 4-finger swipe, you know, or you do split screen. Split screen. The split screen would work. All right, and then if you could, draw this little triangle, find the height, give us a second to catch up, and if everybody can get the height. So is it sine, cosine, or tangent? What involves the opposite and the hypotenuse? I think it's sine. Sine of 38 is equal to h over 19. And then you're pretty much there. JS, what'd you find when you did sine 38 times 19? 11. All right, so the height is 11.7. So now that we know that this side is supposed to be 10, do you get the answer to the question? How many triangles will it create? If it was straight up and down, it would be 11.7, and our side is not straight up and down. Our side is 10. So therefore, it's not going to meet. It's not going to touch, and therefore it's not going to create any triangles. So the answer is 0. Because the height came in at 11.7, and I'm hoping you rounded that right, because all of our work depends on that. You guys got the same thing? Oh, round to one decimal is consistent throughout the whole thing. Yeah. All right. So yay, we figured out this side's 11.7, and then you process and go, wait a minute, if A is 10, this is 10, that means it won't even touch. So doesn't make a triangle. All right. So the setup for the next one, of course, is pretty much the same thing. It's got your A is 46. I draw yourself an angle that's about a 45-degree angle because it's 46. And then you're going to say one of the sides is 105. And that's this side right there is 105. And this side here is 137. And the question is, will it connect? And if the height of this thing is actually 110, it's not going to touch again. But they're not going to do that again. It's pretty likely that this time, you're going to find out that distance is actually like 102, and then 105 is big enough that it could swing either way, and you can end up with it this way or that way. That's my guess, but you got to figure it out. All right, I know this is going to take a little while. This is not a super easy assignment, but hey, option A, you do it right now in class. You'll probably all do that for a little bit. Then you got tonight, and then you got all day Friday, and it's not due then, and then Saturday, and then Sunday, and then Monday, and then Tuesday is due. Okay? Yeah, so this isn't due till Tuesday at 8 a.m. So if you're really smart, you'll wait till Monday night, really late, and then curse yourself with this terrible task of trying to do, I'm just teasing. You don't want to do that. Oh, no, it's due at 8 in the morning, so you can't even wait till lunch. Sorry. Well, I do strongly recommend doing this because then, you know what happens Tuesday? Review for the test. You know what happens Wednesday? The test. So if you take all weekend off, Tuesday's going to be rough. And then Wednesday, the test itself would be rougher. One other little piece of good news. I've moved the lab so it's due after the test. That way you can focus on the test for right now. And the night after the test, when you no longer need to study for the test, you can study for the lab or get the lab done. Okay, so the lab is due Thursday, because the test is Wednesday. Lab's Thursday. Okay? Is there anybody in here who does not have their data from the lab because you weren't here? All right. Then your current partner that you're sitting next to, lucky you, you need to help him get the data from the lab. Yes. It's okay. You have other people that can help you with the ideas of the setup, etc. You don't need time to work with them. You just needed to have them as a sounding board and to help measure the angle. Okay. Yes? Question for the group? Okay, and that's all I have for the video for today.